board president. And we'll start introductions with Cecelia Moreno.
Brennan, Adam Neve.
Larry Malone, Empire House.
Megan Gamble, the Hillcrest Business Association.
Benjamin Nicholls with the Hillcrest Business Association.
Michael Brennan, Carson Douglas, Landscape Architecture.
Clay Napa with Crossing Law.
Pete Katz, Katz Real Estate. Brian Pedrozzi, Riches.
Alfonso Chang, American Bank.
Matt Wallstrom, Roberts Electric.
Mary Joseph, MFJ Systems.
Mara Elliott, Community.
Oh, Mike Wright, Citizen.
Citizen of the world. Citizen of the world.
Nancy Morris, past president of HBA. Ann Garwood, former HBA coordinator.
Robert Schrader, Fifth Avenue Books.
Sam Gray, illegal.
Community.
Jonathan Haley, Media.
Nancy Young from Freshell. Okay. We have. One more board member. We'll wait for him
Do you want to say hi?
I'm Paul Smith, I'm the owner of the across the street.
So we'll have public comment. I'll remind everybody that we have 2 minutes. Anybody have any public comment?
I do. I'm Mara Elliott. I am a Chief Deputy City Attorney at the San Diego City Attorney's Office, and I'm also a candidate for City Attorney. So the election is only 4 weeks away. I've been meaning to come here for a while and hear some of the issues that you're addressing. One of the things, well, briefly, I've been practicing law for over 20 years, and most of those years have been for government entities. And I'm the only person from within our office who's running to replace Jan Goldsmith. He's our current city attorney. He will be termed out. I have the support of the deputies in our office. All the attorneys in our office are called deputies. And there are 145 of us. So I have their endorsement as well as John Witt's endorsement, who was our city attorney for 27 years. And the things that are going to be most important to me as city attorney is keeping in touch with the community that we serve. So I would love to have our deputies coming to meetings. We probably can't come to every single meeting you have, but I think it's the best way for us to stay in touch with what's happening on a daily basis. I want to return our services as deputy city attorneys. We're the advisor for the mayor and the city council to just ordinary services, making sure that our quality of life in San Diego is good. And I can't think of a better place to start than with community planning groups, town councils, and business advisory groups of all sorts. So I wanted to come and invite you to contact me with any issues you think should be on our radar. And then hopefully you're going to take a look at the candidates. I know city attorney is not the raciest race in town, and a lot of people are caught up in the presidential election. But it is such an important office, and there's so much good that we can do as long as we're staying in touch with the community. So again, my name's Mara Elliott. I have a website. Please feel free to check it out. Email me if you have any concerns you want to discuss. And hope to see you folks at the election. Thank you.
Ann Garwood. The Hillcrest, I think, is it's looking a little trashy. Like 7th Avenue along where the meters are between Robinson and University. There's 100 pieces of garbage on that street alone. The cars in Hillcrest and in Bakersfield never have to move when the street cleaner comes down, which is rarely. But because they don't have to move, the street cleaner never gets to the curb. So the curbs are, somebody has to get in there and really sweep underneath the cars. It's not being done, and I mentioned this last night at the parking meeting. I'm hoping that maybe some parking funds can be used for it, because you can tell it's the cigarette butts that come out of cars while they're sitting there, or it's a coffee cup or something that's, the cars have run over. But between the city and the HBA or the parking district, it would just be great if Hillcrest could look a little bit better. I think, you might be able to attract more business and more customers to the community if it looked better. The other thing that's really nasty is our alleys. A lot of communities don't have alleys. There's not alleys downtown. There's not alleys in Bakersfield. But you get up here, And they're really nasty. If you haven't driven down a Hillcrest alley lately, look at it, and again, ask the city or the HBA maybe to spend some money to try to clean those up, because your customers are looking at the alleys too, and the sidewalks. Thank you.
Yeah, in the April 29th issue of gaysd.com, the executive director had a guest article saying bring the AIDS memorial to Hillcrest, offering to basically obligating the organization to take on that responsibility should people decide to go for that. I've been at every meeting, and I've never seen in the minutes where in any way, in shape or form, this board ever authorized its executive director to obligate the association in this manner. And I would like, as a member of the organization, I would like to have answers as to where and why, how it was decided to allow him to do that.
Any other comments?
You're going to do public comment during the agenda?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
We have a new guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, hey, yeah. Sorry I'm late, guys. My name's Ralph. I'm with Senator Marty Block's office. I'm taking over Caitlin's post. And I'm just here to say hi tonight. And yeah, if I just got my business card, so I'll leave them at the table. Call our office if you ever need anything.
Welcome.
Welcome, thank you. And no other comments, proposed public comment? President's report. As you know, we had the candidates debate a couple weeks ago, and it was a very good success. We had about 100 people that participated in the debate. I personally was not able to attend, but Ben said it was very lively, and they got a lot of good answers to some questions that we had. Staff reviews for HBA staff will be occurring this month and next, so we'll be handling that. Oh, do we? Okay, thank you. We had a really great Taste of Hillcrest event. I was there. It was overwhelming. It was unbelievable. As merchants probably were seeing, it was such a great event. I think we had 2,000. Cecelia will talk more about it, but we did quite well. We're very excited about the event. And just a housekeeping item, I want to remind everybody, particularly the board, that we do have an attendance policy, so we'd like to try to maintain that. Just if you're not going to miss, or if you're going to miss a board meeting, please just try to let us know. And a reminder that 3 unexcused meetings in a row or 4 in a year will you'll be maybe subject to being dismissed, so or replaced. So I just want to make everybody remind everybody of that. And your input is really important also with the executive committee. It's our opportunity to review the format of what we have here. So it would be really helpful if we had a little bit higher attendance. We almost didn't have a quorum because I was late coming in for jury duty. So if you guys could make every effort, at least every other time, to try to be there, it would be very helpful. And I'm off my soapbox. Ben?
Great. Well, Cecelia has a little bit, she wanted some time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Cecelia, sorry.
Oh, you want to, did everyone
Yes.
get a copy of the P&L from Taste of Hillcrest? Everybody got that down? You guys get it?
No.
Yeah.
Michael Brennan is screwing us up. He'll have to be on the minutes.
So, I'm pleased to report that in this P&L, you'll notice that we are adding staff costs into the bottom line before you see the net result. And the profit from the taste was $33,954.84. So that's like awesome. And that is a true net for the event. On the second page, you'll see the hours that each staff person put in. And you guys remember from years past, we have used outside public relations and marketing companies, and this year it was all brought in-house, and you can see that that is a win for the organization. So that was good to see very good decision.
I can just make one comment. So the portion at the bottom of the report that you're seeing shows who spent what time doing what. And so the top part is your traditional transaction detail, and it shows the gross before you take out staff time, which is sort of an abstraction. The gross for the event is $37,874. And then the staff time was $3,919. Now, as Cecelia pointed out in the past, we had a public relations firm. This year we took that public relations function in-house, and you'll see that Megan's time and the intern that we have was pretty much spent on it. I mean, it was a good 2.5 weeks work for Megan setting up all that public relations type stuff. And so I want to recognize Megan for that. We had more TV interaction at this event, almost double than we had last year when we paid the public relations firm to do that work. So, and we did it for half the cost. So, so I do want to recognize Megan for that. But I also want to note that going forward, when the staff are completing their timesheets, they're going to be logging what they're spending their time on. So you should be able to get a sort of a report each month, or each event, I should say, showing who did what. And as you can see at the bottom, I do very little.
Ben, is this time above and beyond what you normally do?
No, this is.
So actually, if we didn't have this event, you were going to spend this time anyway?
Yeah, I mean, they're full-time employees, so
Yeah.
they'd be doing other things.
Yeah.
Now, you can see that we spent almost $4,000, and we brought in almost $40,000. Good return on
Very good.
Especially since the sales were increased so much, so dramatically.
Okay.
Cecelia, anything more to add?
No?
Yay.
Yay. Yay, Megan.
We have high expectations.
Yeah,
for all
you just
the
set the
other
bar.
events.
Congratulations.
I'm all excited now.
Okay, Ben, the executive director's report.
Just one item. There was a lot of things covered in the president's report, and then we have some big things on the agenda. I wanted to let folks know that I'm continuing to work with the California Restaurant Association to engage with the mayor's office regarding ensuring that permitting for the bikeway is done in a way that favors commitments to mitigate the parking that Sandag made. So you'll remember recently Sandag committed to broadly mitigating the loss of the parking related to the bikeway, and working with the mayor's office and the city to make sure that that mitigation happens is a critical piece of it. So the city's a big partner in that, and we have been engaging with Sandag up to this point, but we really need to engage with the city to make sure the mayor is giving good direction. So I've been working on that, and that's my stuff.
Okay, we have consent agenda items, Mr.
Yeah. We're going to need to approve the minutes from April and the financials from March. So if anyone wants to pull those or wants to make a motion, now is the time.
I move we approve.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Let's vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Abstentions?
Glenn, who seconded that? I'm sorry.
Oh,
No,
right.
it's
Right.
Okay, we have a presentation for proposal for a partnership with the Sunday of Pride for our Pride Block Party, which I'll turn over to Mr. Nicholls.
Yeah. So last month, you'll recall that we voted to move forward with the Pride Block Party, despite communications with the Pride organization that they were not going to partner with us for July, prior to Hillcrest block party. But last week I did receive a proposal from San Diego Pride requesting that we partner with them again on the block party. So had a change of heart. The proposal was in your packet. I reviewed the proposal. The only substantive change that I could see when I reviewed it was that they are requesting a meeting after the block party to review the finances, so they can go through the finances and make sure that they have confidence in how we're spending the money and what we're doing, and maybe making suggestions. They are also asking that one of our past presidents, Nick Mead, be sort of like the chair of that panel. Nick Mead, as you remember, is a nightclub owner in the neighborhood. He owns Riches. I think that's the only substantive change. We did make some suggestions earlier, I guess late last year, that are included in the proposal, and those suggestions are that staff costs for the HBA come out of the profits for the event before it's split 50-50, and that the maintenance of the Pride flagpole be included before the split.
Maintenance of the monument and the flag replacement?
The flag replacement.
All of it.
Any money, money that we've spent.
Okay, and so when you do the financials, you will go back 12 months for the costs that the HBA has incurred on the monument, and then that will be the expense item on the financial statement for the event?
Yeah, that's what I would look at. The only costs that I would see would be the replacement of the flag. The rest of the maintenance, everything else is taken care of by the city-managed maintenance assessment district in that area, so there aren't a lot of other costs.
What about, I heard last month about some of the deferred maintenance on the monument itself.
We haven't talked about that, and we haven't really taken any action on that.
So that would be in the following year's financial statements.
If the board wanted to apply those expenses to the event, that would be in the subsequent year.
Okay. And is this a multi-year contract, so we don't have to revisit this? Because the years go by so fast, I would hate to have this discussion.
The proposal they submitted was just one.
I've got a question whether or not the deferred maintenance is covered by the assessment.
It's not. In fact, we were obligated by our permit when we constructed it. We were obligated to that.
I would make a motion to add that into last year's.
If I could just before you make any motions, it's probably proper to hear from everybody.
Yeah, we want to definitely hear from, should we do public comment first?
Yeah, and it might be good to introduce Serafina.
Yeah, Serafina's here from the Center. Go ahead and stand up. Sure. So my name is Serafina Savicchio. I'm the Director of Development at San Diego Pride. Some of you may know me because I worked at the center for a number of years doing fundraising there as their Director of Special Events. I am also a member of San Diego's LGBT community, and until recently when I bought my home in Allen Gardens, I was a resident of Hillcrest and came to many of the HBA events and very appreciative of all that the HBA does. And in fact, at San Diego Pride, we only have 5 staff members, but we have hundreds of volunteers, hundreds of volunteer managers, all of whom are customers of your businesses, and also a lot of them are employees of your businesses. So there is a lot of overlap. I think it's a great thing for our 2 organizations to move forward together in this event. Pride, as you may know, is one of the largest one-day events in San Diego. It's a great time for celebrating the LGBT community, and the Pride comes right down University Avenue here in Hillcrest. We are roughly estimated to bring in about 100,000 people over the weekend, and the San Diego State University did an independent study in 2004 estimating our indirect
economic impact as $11 million. So we feel strongly that it's a good thing for the community. We'd love to partner again with HBA. Moving forward, I'm sure we can make adjustments to the agreement. I don't have any authority to make an agreement or an adjustment for the board. What we've submitted has been reviewed by the board and our executive director. But I love your support in it. We've had a lot of fun, and as you know, our website gets a lot of traffic Pride weekend. We'd love to be asking those folks who are buying those tickets to go see Kesha to also be buying a ticket to the block party. So let me know if you have any questions.
I have a question. Can you explain to the board why we're revisiting this again when we were told at our last month's board meeting that you did not want to participate with the block party? Can you tell me what happened there?
So I have not been a party. Maybe Ben can shed some light. He was part of those conversations. I got involved when I saw that we weren't going forward. I actually reached out to Ryan and I reached out to Nick Mead. We had some excellent conversations. I'm completely inspired. I love Nick, and I think he's a wonderful asset to our community. He's a longtime supporter of the center, and he's certainly a longtime supporter of San Diego Pride. And he told me it was actually his idea to bring the block party to fruition here in Hillcrest, and he talked about his vision of having a low-cost event that everybody in the LGBT community and our allies could come together and dance under the stars. I said, you know what, that doesn't sound too far off from our mission, which is to spread respect and pride in the LGBT community here in San Diego. Let's get together and try to make this work. It's stupid that it's not working. Let's move forward. We put together an agreement in short order and we submitted it with a blessing from our board. So I'm hopeful that instead of looking backwards, we can just move forward and have a successful event. I wish I was not a party to any of those conversations prior.
I can speak to some of the conversations because I met with Stephen, have been in conversations with Nick and Benjamin and so forth. You have a board of directors of Pride, you have a board of directors here, and oftentimes the soldiers don't have the same opinions as the board of directors, and I think that there were a lot of people that wanted to continue with the block party. I know Serafina was one of those. When I met with Stephen, we were chatting about how do we move forward. There has been conflict. I think that when you have two different organizations that have a mindset of what's the path forward to get this event going, they had a bigger scale event. We had a more neighborhood-driven event in mind, and it wasn't the same mission necessarily. And so Stephen, the last time that I sat down with him, was he liked the idea of having Pride be signed on as it's an official event. They would still be producing something different, and we were kind of blindsided, to be frank, with the downtown event. And what happened consequently was there was a very organic response to that in the community, and I think that Pride listened to that response and came back to the table and said the right thing to do is to cancel the downtown event and get back to the block party.
So I have a couple of questions. First of all, I'd like to see that it's clarified that HBA retains all of the intellectual property for the Hillcrest branding, just so that's very clear. But I'm questioning why we don't do a 5-year agreement. Why not just say that this is going to be an event that we work together on for a period of time, so we don't knee-jerk and have to organize the event. It just becomes routine, so we can really set aside the time, the organization, and plan for a really successful event year over year.
I had a question too. I actually had a commentary, but I'm kind of confused. You had said that there wasn't much variation from the agreement before, but it was my understanding that the new arrangement was that the business association would be responsible for the logistics and the production of the event, and Pride would just be a marketing partner and a beneficiary. Is that not the case?
That is exactly the case.
There's logistics in here.
Yeah, so just to be clear, when I said, I meant there was not many changes from the arrangement that we had previously talked about at this meeting. So we had made changes, and Stephen and I had talked about those changes, and this board had actually voted on those changes.
Okay.
The version that Serafina presented or sent me last week was very similar to that. There weren't many changes in terms of who was doing what. The main change in regards to who's doing what is we're doing all the logistics, promotions, advertising, all that work, and then we're also doing the entertainment, whereas in the past that had been something that Pride worked on.
And all the sales of the tickets go through this organization.
That's good. Brian, I don't know if you wanted to weigh in. I know that you've been involved in some of the discussions. I know that a lot of
I think that one of the things in the new contract is that we are gaining control of the production of the event, which is something that was really important to us from the beginning because we know what really keeping this a neighborhood event, community event. So I'm excited to see that in the new contract so that we can listen to our businesses and do what we feel is right. And that is part of the reason why Pride is asking for that financial meeting after, since we have complete control over the financials of the production. They want to go over it and do that, which I think is fine on their end. And I feel like that, with everything that's happened, really the most important decision is whether or not the Pride partnering with the block party is going to be better for the block party, better for the community, and I think it is. I think there's no doubt that we'll sell more tickets and it'll be a better event having them involved. And at the end of the day, that's really what the most important decision is, and making this the best party we can, and being people in the community that are going to go out to the businesses and having them on board to make this an official Pride event, and having that label and the traffic on their website is huge. It's going to be the
That's kind of why I wanted to maybe see if we could just make it a multi-year, so it does have better branding and there's an opportunity, just so we don't have to go down that road again.
It seems like it's the good news and bad news is the more successful we are in speaking as an organization, another organization like Pride, in this case, like, we didn't have to do a lot and we get a big check. Well, we can do it ourselves and get an even bigger check. So it's a catch-22. The more successful we are, the less likely, the more challenging it is to make a real partnership. And I think that's the eternal problem. And when we've partnered with other people, when they've tried to do it on their own, and I'm trying to think of the Mardi Gras. There we go. The Mardi Gras is a classic example. It doesn't work, and so we're good at the financial, we're good at the detail, we're good at the entertainment, because God knows we don't want to have those Helen Garden select entertainment. But I think that maybe if we do that, and if we have that conversation up front, that at the end of this, we are going to have a conversation, and there is something that they bring to the party, there's something that we bring to the party, and 2 + 2 equals more than 1 + 1. And so I think just if we all go into that knowing that concept, so that somebody doesn't come back and say, wow, okay, I got a check that was this size, what if it were twice this size, wouldn't that be fun? And I think that it diminishes what we bring to the party. And we don't do a lot of events, but we do 10 or 12 a year, something like that. And even the smallest of them, the Taste of Hillcrest, is really, that's a lot of events, I get you. We don't do one every week, but the ones we do are financially pretty sound. And I think that that's the good news. And that's the piece that gets missing. And Mardi Gras was the most recent example of that.
Well, now we're including staff costs though, so it is more equitable that we're actually really sharing in
The production.
Production
Costs, yeah.
I can appreciate that we don't want to revisit it again, but it is a new agreement, and I'm hesitant to sign up for more than 1 year because we could have to tweak it next year or something didn't work right. And, we're here for ourselves and our members, and we need to remember that, and I'm afraid of getting locked in.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
And I think that maybe that meeting afterwards,
That's
maybe we
what
get a higher plan out for multiple years because, what do we get additional maintenance costs that we project for that we have?
Yeah. Are you guys in agreement with that?
The only thing that I have to say is, telling on what Cecelia said is that if we're
of splitting the costs and everything, is putting their money back towards maintaining the monuments and all of that. To make sure that
I don't think we even know what that is. Do we have any
Do we
costs
have
on
any
that?
costs on that?
That there are some repairs that folks in the community have suggested, and we should probably look at that. But we don't have a sense of that.
But we've got a couple of months to get a sense of that.
Yeah, we should, definitely.
So I can give you the comments. So first of all, I want to say that we got to recognize that San Diego Pride is the fruit of their labor that brings this weekend to San Diego. And so the opportunity that we have to put on a block party really is rooted in the fact that they have an annual process to build the weekend for San Diego. So I want to recognize that. I think that it was short-sighted of them to pull away. And I think they recognize that it was short-sighted and they're coming back. I would agree with everyone's assessment that maybe 1 year, let's start out with a new agreement and then revisit and have a whole year to figure out what this looks like going forward. But we now have control of the event as it speaks. We get to produce it the way that we want for our neighborhood, and then they become a marketing partner and beneficiary. I also think that there is a lot of value in having us listed on their website. I think that they get a tremendous amount of traffic, and if we're listed as one of the official events, if they can bundle that, whatever that looks like, it's only going to be to our benefit. The Pride Monument that you brought up, this was my concern as well, as I don't want it to be just about the flags, I want it to be about the ongoing maintenance. And if you go and look at it today, there's scratches and things that have taken place on it. And I think that every year, whatever that maintenance was in that calendar year is then a line item. And that the block party should first and foremost be a fundraiser for that, and secondary be a fundraiser for our other causes, split however that looks. And so I just want to say that, I've got Chris Shaw, David Cohen, I know Nicholas Mead, the three of us have been chatting, and we feel that it's very, very important that we're graceful and say, let's have the organization back involved in this. I think we won. And so we have an opportunity to heal that and put on an amazing event and have their support again and then revisit it next year. And that's why I'm here today. It's just I want to really strongly say that, I'd like to see this thing.
I'd like to move that we approve the agreement as stated and start the conversation that we've added. That's just really a conversation, not a contract. Commissioners, Hillcrest Block Party.
Can we include the comment that Tami made about HBA's intellectual property, show of name?
Yeah.
There is a note in here that both groups jointly own the event, but there's nothing that talks about intellectual property.
If we can add that and send it back. It sounds like they're mostly okay.
Yeah, I have a couple of clarifications on the actual document. There's some typographical errors, so if I could have one of you send it to Ben, I can redline it.
He has
So,
it.
I have it.
and that way I can just clarify. You've got some, under equal opportunity, you talk about stormwater management, and that's not the appropriate location. And I would like to also clarify that under expenses and profits, the third paragraph down, it talks about within 90 days, where we do this reconciliation, it says that we'll issue a check to SDP for its share of the profits of the event, but it doesn't say net of the expenses, and I would just like to make that clarification because it is reflected above, so that way there's no conflicting language within the document.
Can we put in the deferred maintenance on the monument as well?
Yeah.
So my motion would be to add all of the
include the
comments
deferred
we had, send the contract back to
Our
them.
board meets on the 18th, and I can bring it to them.
Would it be helpful if somebody from HBA came along, if I came along?
It might be, yeah, and I can just email you.
I'll send you that.
Okay.
So maybe we could restate the, I would like to restate it.
So what I'd like to, the motion I'd like to make is that we move forward with our comments and additions to the contract so that we can present it back. And some of Tammy's suggestions are ideal, but we're not going to, we may not get all of that in the back and forth if it has to get put off yet another month before we get it here. I just want to make sure that it's moving forward. And I think we need to start tonight to move it forward. If we don't start until a month from now, that's too late.
No, we don't.
There's no
There's
option.
no
Yeah, that's no option.
How
So-
about if you say something about executive director to make the appropriate changes to the contract
As reflected by the board.
as reflected by the board's wishes tonight.
I was thinking just that.
Second.
I just want to clarify, because I'm writing in my notes here, that deferred maintenance of the monument and the flag are 100% to them, or are we splitting?
It's to the entire, it's in the current, it's a line item.
Okay, all in favor? Abstentions? Okay.
And God forbid, if there's a negative at the end of everything, that negative is good.
Yes.
Thank you, Seraphina.
Thank you, Seraphina.
Serafina, I didn't mean to impinge.
Seraphina's a rock star, by the way, so.
I didn't want to say anything bad about her.
Volleyball, kickball?
I have a dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
Oh, I love it. The gay varsity league's final, so I have to excuse myself for the playoffs. It's the playoffs, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
That's absolutely the first dodgeball excuse we've ever had.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm sorry, I'm writing and I'm not paying attention. So next item, homeless strategy.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure the board was up to speed with what had been going on in regards to our homeless strategy. You will recall that for the past year, ending April 6th, we were partnered with the council office to fund a team of engagement specialists with mixed results. I believe that over the long term, those results will improve. At the executive committee, we looked at a letter that I sent to Todd requesting, I can hand this letter around, that homeless outreach team be expanded citywide, and in fact be expanded to 5 teams, and then to be funded out of the general fund, so that it not be reliant on neighborhood business associations to fund these homeless engagement teams. And the point I make in the letter is that the teams do a lot of valuable work building relationships with homeless people to get them into the other programs that the city is creating. I wanted to make sure that folks were aware that we were essentially concluding our work on this. Technically, the homeless outreach teams are still working in the neighborhood, but our money is expected to run out pretty much by the end of the fiscal year, which would be great if the city could pick up the tab after that. This is really something that the city should be funding. And I've spoken to a lot of business improvement districts in the city and a number of council offices who are, yeah, and we attended a meeting downtown. I think there's a lot of energy to have this be something that the city funds rather than us or the other business districts across the city. There's services and homeless shelters for these people, and then they oftentimes are completely unable to make it to those services. And that's where these triage teams come in useful. Because the moment when they want to take advantage of the service, we're there. I did print a number of copies, if people want to read them, of letters from other business associations that are basically asking for similar things. The Pacific Beach Business Association, San Ysidro, City Heights Business Association, all wrote similar letters.
And just to add to that, Ben and I attended a meeting with several of the business groups. We had San Ysidro, Downtown Partnership, and there are several entities within the Downtown Partnership, Marina District, Cortez Hill, East Village Association, all have their own separate issues related to the homeless problem. And East Village, we're in East Village as Carlton, and I can tell you what's occurring in East Village is deplorable. We now have drug dealings on the streets, and it's become escalated at the city level. And it seems as though the city is kind of making it a part of the business community's obligation to take care of this, and we're not funded to do that. So we're really pushing hard, and I know you've made a number of comments about what you've seen, and I want you to, hopefully feel assured that we're doing what we can to combat the issue. It's kind of outside of our bandwidth, and we're seeking monies as we can, but
I wanted to just also point out, I did attend a budget hearing yesterday at City Hall. They're planning this upcoming budget, and I requested that this be added into the budget in the general fund. And I did receive positive statements from Normal Street and Dave Alvarez saying that they would be interested in supporting this program. Todd has said that he's enthusiastic about the program and is thinking about considering it. So, and just finally, I'm presenting or speaking on a panel right after this meeting at the Hillcrest Town Council talking about homelessness sort of roundtable. So if people are interested, they can come to that.
I think it's important to partner up with other communities in San Diego, but I think here in Hillcrest we have a unique problem in that we have two major hospitals, emergency wards, that pump homeless individuals on our streets every day, 24/7. I think that issue needs to be addressed with the hospitals in addition to what we're doing, because that's not going to stop. Two major hospitals, and they bring in injured persons from all of San Diego, from downtown, from Port Loma, from City Heights, from all over, and that issue needs to be addressed also.
So Laura, I did bring it up at our meeting. They're aware of it. There are some federal laws that prohibit them from doing certain things, and there are people within the state that are working on that. It's really not something that we can address with the hospital because of some federal mandates. They know we don't like it, but they're pretty much saying,
Maybe they can tap into some federal funds to take care of the issue.
If we were controlling the world, I guess that would happen. Yeah.
It seems like, and I like the thoughts in the letter regarding that it's as much a mental health problem as it is the services. And maybe 10 years ago the services weren't available for the homeless that they are now, but now the services are available. Most of the engagement by the Alpha Project folks here in San Diego are the same people over and over who are refusing services.
Correct.
And there's a mental health element of that. And if and until we can, I'm not talking about making, homelessness is not illegal, but if and until you can deal with the mental health aspect of it, we're not going to get anywhere. I was just in Chicago and drove down Wacker Underpass, a place that you wouldn't drive 10 years ago, and there weren't any. And so it moved to warmer climes, I guess. But I think the step is, and I don't know what the total solution is, but at some point making mental health, people who can't demonstrate mental health, making it less viable for them to be on the street. Because right now we're getting people turned loose every day that are mentally ill that we can't provide services for because they won't receive them. And there's a spot there where we may have to draw a little firmer line, and I don't know what that line is. Maybe the city attorney's office.
So one thing that we did learn in this meeting is that the County of San Diego has billions of dollars that they were supposed to deploy. They have not done it. There will be some actions taken to see if they can deploy that. The county looks at incorporated cities as people that are, you know, the cities that don't need the funding because they look at it as unincorporated for the county, but that's not true. That's not what the funds were to be used for. So that is one of our Achilles heels that we're trying to overcome. We recognize that mental health is part of the problem, a big part of the problem in many cases, but tapping those resources is really not a business community's role and responsibility. And so Ben can speak to another program that they're trying to roll out within the city.
So at the meeting yesterday at this budget hearing, Todd Gloria talked about a number of programs, including the SIPS program, which focuses directly on chronic inebriated people. He also talked about housing first as a strategy. If you get these people into houses, then you can start to treat them, or into some sort of shelters, you can start to engage with them. The county and the city have all of these programs that they're starting to ramp up because everybody's seeing this as a problem. But having a shelter downtown doesn't help us at all if it doesn't get those people that we see every day off the streets. And so we can't really be that much involved in these big Father Joe's Village, big strategies, but we can advocate to have these triage programs that will get those people to the services they desperately need. And that is something that, relative to the city budget, is a relatively small amount of money. I talked to the Alpha Project and they said for $500,000 they could have 5 teams out running all over the city, like placing these people. And $500,000 to the general fund is not a lot of money. And that's really what we're doing. But there are a lot of programs that are ramping up.
I thought I just read something about the county just implementing, and throwing a lot of money at it.
Yeah, but they're throwing a lot of money into the county. They're not looking at the cities. They're at the unincorporated areas, and the counts are staggering. What half of the homeless live in the city.
Well, maybe the other project, that's what this stuff.
Yeah, I know, it's driving out to Alberta. There's no law there. There's only 4 down alone, let's take them out there. Jonathan had a question.
Well, I just want to, so this really is a government issue. We pay taxes. This is a social services issue. And I think we spent 20 grand as an organization last year. Was that our contribution? More? 30? 40? But, oh, so I thought it was split between the council office.
Yeah, we spent about 30 grand.
Okay,
and
so
that was our share.
So we're in an election year. And so, we've been having this conversation in circles for as long as I've lived in San Diego. And you've got politicians coming in and saying they're going to do something about it, they don't do anything about it. So what about spending that money on a videographer to go around highlighting the problem, doing social media posts, and call to actions for you to contact your local officials and say, we need you to be motivated to fix this issue. And my office over by City Mark, I had to lock the women in there because a homeless man had locked himself in our bathroom. He threw a toilet paper with feces on it at me, and they were locked in there for 20 minutes, fearful for coming out until the police cleared up. And so it's getting to a point where it's exacerbated to the point that these people are now attacking. And this is a mental health issue. And at some point, as a business organization, it's not your responsibility to pay the tab. But it is a public awareness issue, and nothing gets politicians that quicker than having these issues brought to light.
So in that vein, we did talk about the shaming project.
Okay, that's exactly, I didn't want to
We talked about the shaming project, and it's not outside the realm of possibility.
So I have a videographer that would probably volunteer his time for this. His name's Justin. He just got back from Africa and did a water program there, and this is in his wheelhouse. And so it's something that just interject. I think it's something you should consider because you tried every other avenue.
That's certainly something we can talk about.
Yeah. So we've got, go ahead.
Well, actually, I was going to come tonight and speak in public comment because I wasn't aware this was on the agenda. But I think everyone's saying all kind of the same things. But I don't think we should fool ourselves into thinking that the work that the Alpha Project did or anything is working, because it's not. It's worse. It's extremely worse. And instead of a single or two people hanging out on the corner or at Pernicanos, you've got groups of people. And when you have businesses that either feed them out the back door, or I went into Rite Aid yesterday or the other day, and they're allowing them to stash their bags of clothes right inside the door. Well, you know, I hope we all complain to the manager like I did and direct him to go out and address the people that are at the bus stop and on the other side of the building. Because the problem, I mean, I don't expect the business association to solve the problem. But I sure hope you don't spend any more money on it either, because it's not working. It's not any better.
working. Just to speak to that, one of the items that we did talk about was education, not only to residents, but also business groups throughout the city about how you need to manage, you need to be part of the solution and not helping the problem. And that's kind of what's happening, especially at, you know, like you explained at Rite Aid. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to echo Nancy's comments. You know, my office, I've been on First Avenue, right down from Wiener Schnitzel, which is now closed, for 13 years, and now it's getting really bad. I was mentioning to Ben, I showed him videos of a fire of a bin in the back that almost burned a carriage house across the alley between First and now they've lit up the alley, which has helped. But everyone, you know, all the homeowners and businesses got together and just, it's very bright back there now, which helps. But on my front stoop, I have to walk over, lately, over a gentleman who, you know, I tried to get a hold of the Alpha guy, but it wasn't in his hours. So it was on a night where I couldn't get a hold of the security guy that was supposed to be servicing through the Alpha. So yeah, I think there's some issues. I mean, the cops came by and he just showed up. It didn't affect him at all. I mean, when I have to walk over someone to get into my business because I work late hours, that's getting bad. And it's just, but I think, Tami, you're onto something, that the funding, it's all about, Ben would agree with this, it's all about funding. The county is sitting, they're really great at fires and protection. They love buying new squad cars for their sheriffs. They put a lot, but they're sitting on this, and great, they built a brand new center out there on Claremont Mesa. But they need to, and they've got these PSAs on TV, you know, that's where they're pumping their money. I mean, it's basically lip service. I think that's an excellent source for funding. And I think you also have to do what Alpha was trying to do, get the teams out there, work with these, establish a personal relationship with these guys. You can't use the heavy hand, it won't work. But it's getting to the point now where it almost needs a Manhattan style project to throw some serious money at these things.
Yeah, we're getting short on time, so if we could wrap up the last comments.
Yeah, like the security meeting that they had about this. Is this the proper time for that, man?
You bet.
Okay. Alpha Project only placed 17 people during the program. Isn't that what it was?
Yep.
It's ridiculous. You know, I'm right in the heart of it. They come, the Alpha Project comes up, and oh yeah, you know, gives them food and a new blanket. They know they're not going to go with them. We don't really want to fund it. The Alpha Project isn't helping. So what we've tried to do, and what I think we have to do, is take the problem on ourselves, because ain't no one going to do it for us. And that is our security team. And they are not what you would call great. And Ben and I talked about it. We interviewed another company that I think is really on the ball. And I think we discussed what we could get from them with our current security budget. And it's not enough. Basically what it is, we can get a security guard 3 days a week, and then from 6 to 6, we get a roving patrol to do the whole neighborhood. And that means you can call them, they'll be out on patrol, and they will, I mean, these guys have guns. They're not just, you know, a guy in a red shirt. They look like cops, they act like cops, and they actually try to get something done. I have.
What do they do?
So Pete, just
What would
to,
they do if
just
they
to-
came across a homeless person?
so just to clarify, so just to clarify, Pete, the security service right now is 5 days a week, and it is only in the man area. And we can only spend currently our security money in that area. So,
So what we need to do is step up to the problem. We all talk about it. We all say it's a big thing. We need to grossly increase the budget, get a guy, I think, 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, and get the nighttime patrol and run these people out of the neighborhood. Yeah, they do.
Not as a security.
Okay, just listen, Jonathan, hold on a minute. What they can do, if all of the private property owners give permission for them to be their agent, they can cite them and then get them arrested the second time. If they're on the public sidewalk, they have ways, and the guy told us, we have a lot of ways to make it so uncomfortable for them, they will leave.
so why don't I just suggest something? That sounds like a committee discussion?
Yeah.
It's
Let's
definitely
move
a
on to a
discussion.
Maybe we'll continue that security committee, and then anyone who wants to come along to that meeting, I think that's a good place
What
to
is
have
that?
it.
And all of you are welcome to attend as well. It's
I just want to follow up
on
what Pete said. It won't take that much time. That doesn't work. The homeless, they're becoming a lot more aggressive. A lot more aggressive. The other day, our Alpha project on weekend, I called, they don't work on weekend. I had someone, I pushed him out of my business. He went and sat on the curb. Police came, they won't do anything about it. It's not on my property. It's on the curb, yelling and screaming and badgering all my customers. I can't do anything about it. Police came, didn't do anything about it. Emergency units came and could not do anything about it. So security won't be able to do anything about a person that's going to be on the sidewalk if the police can't do anything about it.
Well, there are strategies. I don't think we set a time for the meeting, but if you're interested in joining the meeting, the security meeting, I think it is important to have that discussion. There are strategies that you can employ. They're not always effective, but at this point, I think maybe.
Can you wrap it up in 2 minutes?
Less than that.
Okay.
What does La Jolla do? There's no homeless problem
Oh,
in the
yes,
central
there
core
is.
of La Jolla.
Yes, there is a
On
big problem.
Prospect, on the side streets?
Yes, there is a big problem.
Really?
Oh, yes. I am on the periphery of that business organization. Yes,
Okay.
they have problems.
Okay.
Well, anyway, with the point that we need to send it to committee, and everybody needs to wake up and realize we got to put some serious money to this and try it. The company that we're working with and is giving us the proposal, they'll increase it or shrink it. Let's try it. For God's sakes, we got to do something to try to get the homeless out. And the security company is a lot more aggressive than the San Diego police. So if we don't try it, we'll never
The
know.
other prong on that is you have to educate business people, like Rite Aid, like Starbucks, like everyone else, where they do not look outside the periphery of the inside of their business ever. And that's a huge issue. I'm very vigilant around the periphery of my business. I'm outside all the time making sure, but I can tell you, lots of businesses are not doing that.
All they have to do is make the security their agent, and the security company will do it.
But you also have to get managers.
We can talk about this all night.
Yeah, let's send it to a committee.
This is going to be an ad hoc committee. We encourage you all to attend. We'll make sure that we have enough notice time, and we'll discuss it openly.
The last meeting, I was the only one that showed up, so let's get
I'll tell you what I'm
involved.
gonna do, Pete. I'm gonna get my videographer. I'm not bound by a board. I'm gonna get him out there and start videotaping, and I'll start a shaming project because this is rooted in government and our politicians.
Okay, that's great.
No,
But
it
we need
really
to do
is.
the security for
I just-
our businesses now.
Okay, well, I'm going to wrap up the meeting.
One more.
We do have one more item.
Really not
Okay, so,
Normal Street, oh yeah, sorry, Ben.
Oh my God, we have another topic.
okay,
Yes,
one more item.
quick.
Do you want to go, Mike?
Sure.
Forgot.
So I'm the chair of the Normal Street Greenway project. Hopefully this is a brighter topic.
Yay!
And try to make it quick here. We're proposing to launch a crowdfunding campaign to hopefully raise $90,000 as part of this community-oriented project. And here's a video. Okay. So what we're looking for tonight is an authorization to begin fundraising.
Using crowdfunding.
So, I think that there's, I think that one of the challenges with, the Normal Street project is it's unclear how much money it's going to cost, and it's unclear where exactly the money is going to come from. Our plan is to use Sandag money to build part of it, to use parking meter money to build part of it, and but there will be things that those government sources cannot pay for. And so what we are looking to do to get us off the ground is a crowdfunding campaign. We're looking to raise $90,000, and hopefully we'll have our little video up. The idea is basically modeled off the previous fundraising campaign that we did for the Pride project, the Pride flag one.
Which raised, I think, a similar amount.
It's a similar amount of money.
Really?
And so this is what we've been working on. This is the draft Kickstarter video. We're going to cut about a minute out of this, but I wanted to show it to people.
I'm Michael Brennan, landscape architect from Carson Douglas Landscape Architecture,
Sound a little bit, Danny.
and chair of the Greenway project design team. We're planning to convert part of Normal Street into the Normal Street Greenway. We'd like you to contribute to our crowdfunding campaign in that period. We're here at Hillcrest on the base of the Pride flag, future home to a large Pride park. Normal Street is just way too big, so it's begging for us to turn it into some green space, and that's why we've called it the Normal Street Greenway project. Normal solves a lot of different problems for this area of Hillcrest. So we're looking at increasing parking for the neighborhood. We're looking at creating bike infrastructure, bike parking. We're still accommodating auto traffic and recreational opportunities for everyone.
These are your money shots, you seem to be at the top.
During organic gatherings that happen in the space, a lot of times the police have to close the street off, which is a big inconvenience. So it'd be great if we could actually retake this space formally and have them to use organically all the time for whatever needs are going on. So right now is a really great time to jump into this project. We have multiple sources of funding that are coming together in the neighborhood. We've got Sandbags Bikeway Project, we've got Park District funds, and we've got other organizations that are looking to get some money. So we're really excited about this opportunity. We're hopeful that we can get the community support to make this project happen. Let's see you out there, you guys, you know,
I don't think you showed the width of really normal.
Yeah, I think
That's it. You only showed one way. You need to show the big one to show, oh, yeah.
So the video is still a work in progress. It will be theoretically will premiere at the Thursday night Reimagine Normal Street event.
This Thursday.
This Thursday it'll be done, and hopefully we can kick off this Kickstarter campaign at that event. And I will say the digital shots, the three-dimensional shots, those are just samples, some samples that the videographer chose. We can tweak them and use other samples, and the majority or the full presentation will occur on Thursday about what this design team finally came up with. There's a lot of really, some really creative things, some kind of fruity things, but some really good ideas that came forward. So I hope that people will come out on Thursday to see the full presentation. It's at Normal Street, and it's the event starts at 6. The presentation probably won't start until 7. So if folks want to come out and see the whole thing, there's going to be an amazing presentation on the history of Normal Street. I mean, it's amazing. The history of that street is quite fascinating. So if folks want to come out, what we need today is an authorization to accept donations through this medium, a website essentially.
Coming through this organization, right?
Yes.
There's a question though, wouldn't it make more sense to use the CDC and a 501c3 instead of, it's more of a legal question, as a C6, we're really not designed to accept these kind of funds?
No,
Non-profit funds?
I don't think so. I think the money needs to come through this organization.
Problem is, this organization can't legally take that. We can only
Yeah,
take money
we can
from
take
our
it,
membership.
It's just not a tax deduction for the people that are.
If somebody gave you $10,000 check, they couldn't deduct it.
Right.
That's going to squelch a lot of people.
Yeah,
But as a 501c6, there's really limits as to where we can gather our money from. We can deduct it as an expense, that's not a problem, but where we can gather money from is what I'm saying.
Yeah, a lot of donors may not be businesses.
So that is a question for the group to consider. We did discuss it in the executive committee, and the executive committee said, well, this is work that the HBA has done, and so the HBA should accept that money. We can accept money. We accept money all the time. $10,000 people write us $10,000 checks all the time. They don't.
But
they don't get a tax benefit. They don't get a tax
business
benefit.
deduction.
That's correct.
But if someone's wanting to just make a charitable gift.
Absolutely, you're correct. And so that's a question for this group to decide. CDC is completely legitimate at this point. It is a different board. It is a different group of people.
We didn't really know that it would just be earmarked for that project. We asked that it go to
the provisions of the campaign really earmark that money. Be disingenuous to tell people you were going to use that money for one thing and use it for another. So that you can't really do that. Like there bound by
We
that.
can speak for CDC that way.
No, you can't. You can't speak this.
Are you doing fundraising, just fundraising, or are you going to do tiles, or what's?
Yeah, but it's exactly the same system as the earlier fundraising. There's a lower level of fundraising where it's exactly the same remuneration. So $100 for your name, $500 for a tile, all of those ones that we're familiar with. The only difference is there's a $50 level, which we didn't do before, and you get a t-shirt. And you get an invitation to a theoretical groundbreaking project.
One other question, if people make contributions and for whatever reason the project doesn't move forward, do you have a mechanism to return their contribution?
No, that you get a t-shirt.
That's what t-shirts are.
Let's try to
I move we approve that, or we vote on that as facilitated.
I have a suggestion. Probably leave it open as to whether the money comes directly to HBA or to CDC. I know there are benefits to both, and the committee can.
I think the challenge is that you need to identify that who the organization is going to get, which organization is going to get.
This has to be done for this weekend.
This week, because we're going to kick it off this week.
say, Ben, isn't the accountant the basic?
What?
Isn't the accountant the same?
No.
The accountant?
It's about the recipient of the the recipient of the funds, and the website that runs these campaigns needs you to identify who the money's going to before you start the campaign. By my mind, there's two benefits. Well, there's a benefit to going with the HBA. It's very clean. There have been a lot of questions last time we tried to resolve this. The benefit to having the money go towards the CDC is people get a tax write-off, although that didn't seem to bother anybody last time. And two, there are no fees for the website. It's going to a 501c3 charity. Whereas if it comes to us, the website will charge us fees.
Okay, how about this? I think I have a win-win. Nagel. It could be a lose-lose. How about this? The money goes directly to the CDC, and then they give it back to the HBA to do the finances.
CDC would have to spend money.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with that. I mean, our staff time has gone into this.
That's called law.
Yeah, this is the consequence of giving away our 501c3.
So let me just say, the reason why it's at this board today, because the executive committee discussed it, and the executive committee said we should send it to the board for this organization to access the funds. So that happened. The executive committee, whoever turned out to the executive committee, whoever went to that meeting, made that recommendation. So that's the reason it's here today. We can't make decisions for the CDC. If you want to run a Kickstarter campaign, there is no better time to launch it than this Thursday.
So why don't you do a combination of both? Like have the start the Kickstarter thing, and if somebody wants to make a larger donation that's tax deductible, then they would donate to the CDC. That's it, we can do both.
I would like to make kind of a compromise for proposal, and that's for the Kickstart right now, we do it through HBA. And like he said, if we get budget kickback.
I second that motion.
People want to, we can relook at it later.
So wait a minute,
I think
should
that's
get some public comment.
Can we get public comment on this? Yes.
He was right, dead on with that. You basically have two channels. You do the tiles and things for the HBA. They're purchasing something. Yeah. And they don't get a deduction for that. And then if someone wants to come and write a $10,000 check to the project just to do it, and you run that through the CDC, you can do that. That's clean. It just has to be done. Two organizations can work on the same project.
And then we would.
If we're selling bricks, that's the 5% of the tax. CDC.
Yeah, no, the issues between the 501c6 and the 501c3 can't be glossed over like this. These gentlemen have pointed out this is the law. There's a good reason why it is the law. Specifically, this organization was cited by the city auditor for the last fundraising scheme that was done, and it was referred to the state, the Registrar of Charitable Trusts, for a violation of charitable law. The reason why is the following, is this organization, letter signed by Ben 2011, says that this organization is exempt from oversight by the Attorney General's Registrar of Charitable Trusts because, one sentence, you do not hold funds in trust for charitable purposes. Under no way, shape, or form can you accept money. It has to go through the charity for which the charity, and it has to be under the control of the charity. These schemes by which you manipulate are over. They can't be done. You have to give up that scheme. And further, the border of the Business Improvement District is Lincoln Avenue. Taking it all the way to Washington Street is in fact impinging into University Heights. I think University Heights associations are going to have something to say about that.
I'll just say, we've never been cited by anybody.
No. You haven't.
Thank you for that clarification.
And I just want to say as a public comment, thank you for taking time away from your business and volunteering your time to do this for us. Appreciate it.
If there is no more public comment, I'd like to call a vote. What was the motion originally?
We go with the 5%, we sell the bricks, we do it that way, and then if they want to do it however else they want to donate their money, let them find a way to do that. That would be the
The CDC to do it.
You got it.
Yes. So the Kickstarter campaign is the HBA.
Is the HBA, we have our bricks, we have our t-shirts, we have whatever else that goes with that. Those aren't fair.
Or ski, right? Or ski.
As long as there's an event.
Yes, yes.
So it's legit.
It's legit.
Let's do it. All right. I second the motion.
All right. All those in favor?
We still have an abstain.
I guess.
He's not here. He's not.
So they vote their names.
Do we still have? All right, that wraps it up. Thanks everyone for staying.